Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Simply Street English podcast. Welcome back if you have been here before, and if you're new, then welcome for the first time. My name is Jake and I'm your host on the Simply Street English podcast. And I'm glad you're here because you're about to practice some English listening. Remember, if you would like to see this as a transcript, all of the transcripts are available on Patreon. The first 5 are absolutely free, so go and check them out. But from episode 6, which was last week, you will have to become a Patreon supporter of the podcast if you'd like to see more of them, which would be amazing, because not only do you support the podcast, you will get all of the transcripts included. And on that note, I'd really like to thank Alejandra for joining the Patreon. And that's amazing. We're now up to 3. And that makes me very excited. I'm going to make more podcasts for all of you. So welcome, or should I say, bienvenidos a Alejandra. So thank you for joining the Patreon. Cool. Let's get on with the rest of the podcast. So today, I thought I would speak about going to a restaurant and eating, because who doesn't like eating? Who doesn't enjoy a good meal? Also, I'm quite hungry, so this will be quite fun as well. And by fun, I mean difficult and, yes, challenging for myself. So today, we're going to cover some useful phrases, common questions, and some extra vocabulary dotted all the way through to help you to feel confident when you're eating out in a restaurant in the UK, when you're dining out somewhere. So let's get started. I might even tell you some of my favourite places to go and eat as well. So let's go visit a restaurant together. First of all, of course, you either go by yourself or you go with friends or family, whoever you go with. All good. If you want to go by yourself, I've done it before and it's super chill. You can sit and just people watch. If you're into that kind of thing where you just watch people walk past the window or just observe what other people are doing while you eat your dinner. So you arrive, you walk in, you'll probably see the host or, I think there's 2 different types of staff really. Let's just go for that quickly. You've got the front of house people who are your waiters or servers. Then you've got the back staff. Would you call them back staff? I don't know really. But the people behind the scenes who are usually grilling, cooking, and they are behind the counters making the food. So they would be your kind of kitchen staff, I guess. And they cross over. So the waiters come and get the food after it's been cooked. And it's all hunky-dory and they all get on really well. I actually worked in a restaurant for a few years while I was at university. I'll tell you which restaurant in just a minute. It's one of my favourites. But you'll often walk in and see the host, right? A host might not be a server. If it's a fancy restaurant, the host will be a separate person to a server. They'll sit you down, welcome you, show you the menu perhaps. They'll definitely ask you if you've got a reservation, depending on the restaurant. And a reservation is obviously where have booked a table in advance. So you reserve the table. You make sure that you have it reserved or booked out so that you make sure that you get a place, so that you ensure you get a table. So you obviously are going to say yes to that, but if you said no, you might say no. Are there any tables available? And they could say yes, and you go sit down, or no, it will be 20-minute wait. Is that okay? And then you have to decide whether you want to do that or not. But hopefully you've booked a table, and they ask if you've got a reservation. You say yes, I booked a table for 2 or 20 for 7 o'clock under the name of, let's just say, James. That'll do. Under the name of James. Cool. Yes, the reservation is here. Let me show you to your table. So, if you, just a quick recap on vocabulary there. You can either have a booked reservation or you are a walk-in. A walk-in is a word that is comprised of or made up of 2 words, walk and in, and it's like a hyphenated word. A walk-in, it's when you go in without having a reservation. Okay, so maybe you're a walk-in, but maybe you're not. Depends on the day, really. Sometimes you'll walk past and just feel hungry. So, yes, that's just all I wanted to cover just there. So, step 2, you've sat down at the table. and you can have a little look through the menu. The waiter or waitress might even say to you, if they have specials, would you like to see the specials or the soup of the day? Because depending on the restaurant, they might have different fun and exciting or interesting food that they don't have all the time. If it's just a big chain, then obviously it won't really matter because they don't have specials as often, I suppose. But if you would like to see the specials, you say, yes, okay, I'll see the specials. What do you recommend? Or you could say, what do you recommend? Yeah. Or you could say, can you recommend something? I'm just trying to think of different ways to say it. What would you recommend? What do you like the best? That's a nice one to say. And then you get a bit of a personal opinion too from the waiter or waitress. So let's look at some vocabulary. Or, sorry, you have to order first. So you can say, I'll have, I would like, for me, I'll have, and then I guess if you're a bit more informal, you could say, can I get that? So if you're ordering a burger, you can say, can I get that without onions? Or does that come with chips? Obviously, we'd say chips in the UK. If you're getting fries or anything potato-based, you can just say chips. You can say fries as well. We don't mind saying that either, but just make sure that when you're ordering chips, you're not going to expect crispy kind of potato snack, because that's not what you're going to get here. It's chips, potato, fries, that kind of thing. So, yes, I'll have the grilled salmon, please. And for my friend, what are you having? Oh, I'll get the, I don't know, chicken burger, please. Is there anything else we can get for you? Nope, that's it. Thank you very much. A phrase that I really like is, that'll do me. Or if you're speaking on behalf of, if you're speaking for everybody on the table, nope, that'll do us. That'll do us just fine. Just sort of means, yeah, we're ready. We're good. That'll do for us now. We're okay to order. We've ordered everything we like. So remember some fun vocabulary. You can have a starter or an appetizer. We can use those words interchangeably. A starter is a small dish before the main course. So you might have one to begin with, and then the main course, which is usually the best bit because it's got the burger or whatever. Side dishes, you might want a side plate as well. A side dish can actually be food, or it can be literally a side plate, depending on the context. Something else to be really mindful of and be really aware of is any allergies. Your server might say to you, are there any allergies that we need to be aware of? And you'll probably know if you've got allergies. Things that you're allergic to, where you might eat or even smell or at least touch things like nuts, or what are other common allergies. You could be allergic to things like milk, eggs. I've got a friend who's allergic to garlic, and you have to just be really careful that there's no cross-contamination. So if food is being prepared in the kitchen, if someone's using a knife to cut the garlic, they can't use the garlic knife, the garlic knife, for your meal if you're allergic to garlic. So there's no cross-contamination, so that it doesn't get onto your food because you're allergic to it. Or you just say, no, we have no allergies, and again, everything's hunky-dory. I quite like that phrase. I heard it the other day being used again. Hunky-dory means everything's okay. Everything's good. All right? So hunky-dory, that's some more fun English vocabulary for you. What happens next then? So your server, waiter, waitress will bring you your meal, and hopefully everything is okay. And they should say to you, right, here's your food. Is everything okay? Do you need anything else? Enjoy your meal. But you might say, could we get some more water, please? And probably they'll say, yep. I mean, they will say yeah. Or they'll say, you can serve yourself over there. It depends on the restaurant. And usually in the UK, we have just tap water. You can get still, you can do it, or sparkling, but most people just have tap water, at least from my experience. Tap water does us just fine, okay? More or less. Or if everything's not all good with your order, you could say, sorry, I think this is the wrong order, or excuse me, and make sure you say sorry again. Excuse me, sorry. I also ordered chips to come with that, and they might say, oh yes, one moment, and then say thank you when they bring it back. So here's a fun bit of vocabulary for you. Condiments, okay? A condiment is like a sauce, so ketchup or red sauce, mustard or mayonnaise. We can call it mayo as well. So ketchup is made from tomatoes and it's red. At one point in the UK, I remember when I was probably, let's just say 10 or 11, they did green ketchup for a while. That was really fun. I'm not sure why they did it. It looked weird, but it tasted just like red, ketchup. Mustard is now my favorite condiment. If I have a burger, I like burgers, I'll put mustard on them. I'm also quite partial to mayo and hot sauce. If you're partial to something, it means you like it. You'll eat it. You'll take it. Whatever it is. I'm partial to playing sports. I'm partial to go for a run, for example. I'm partial to mayo and hot sauce. It's got to have both. I don't like mayo by itself, really. Also remember, if you've drunk and you want some more, you can get a refill. So that's obviously, I don't know, if it's water, you're just going to fill it up again. But if it's a J2O, or, like orange juice, or a Coke, or even a beer or something, they'll bring you another one. And they might ask you, would you like the same glass? Or they'll probably try and just take the glass straight away, and you just say, no, I'll have the same glass. Unless you want a new one. It's up to you. It don't really matter. Just make sure you check with your food that it's not undercooked. Sometimes it can be undercooked. That is, not cooked properly. So it might be dangerously not cooked, which is obviously under. You can have overcooked. Now, overcooked isn't as dangerous because it's not going to make you ill, but it's still sad because overcooked steak, for example, is not very tasty. But anyway, it's a tu gusto, as they say in Spain. I don't know why I thought of that one before the English phrase. It's your choice. It's your taste, really. There you go. It's up to you and your taste. If you like it a bit more well done, fair enough. But medium upwards, I would say for me, it's not the best steak. Anyway, I'm digressing. When we digress, we talk about things we shouldn't be talking about because we've got a plan. So I was just digressing. Let's get back to the meal. If everything was okay, the waiter or server will come and take your plates away. And you will obviously say, thank you very much, that was great. My compliments to the chef. Or give my compliments to the chef. And they'll probably smile and ask you if you would like any dessert or coffees. So you can have an espresso or some ice cream, whatever kind of dessert you like. Or perhaps you're finished, all right, and you just want the bill. So at the moment, you can still kind of wave your hand in a, I guess, like, not like a wave at them, kind of, but as if you were signing something, as if you're signing a check, and people will understand that. But in a few years' time, I don't think many people will know what that means. It's like you're holding a pen and waving and like, can we get the bill, please? And they'll, oh yeah, we'll go and get that for you. It's because you would sign a check, perhaps. But I think most people just pay with card or cash these days, So obviously, you might want to split the bill with your friends, family, or if you're by yourself, you're not going to split the bill. If you split the bill, it means you share the cost, share the bill, share the cost, split the bill, right? So you say to your friends, shall we split it? Shall we split the bill? And if you've all had sort of the same stuff, a couple of pounds either way, doesn't matter. Be generous with your friends. Just split the bill. Waiter, server will say cash or card. So they're your payment options. You can pay with cash, which is, well, let's hope it has a comeback because it's been a bit, everyone pays with card these days, but cash is good. Cash is fun. A phrase we use with cash in the UK is cash is king. I'm not sure if it's king anymore because people use their use their card a lot more. But there you go. Make sure you get a receipt if you want it. So that's your piece of paper saying what you ordered. And just double check that you are paying for the right thing. Because sometimes, I've left a restaurant once and I got home and realized, I was like, wait, that was way too expensive. And they'd charged me for something I didn't even order. So just make sure you check the bill. I also forgot, to tell you where I worked as a waiter. I worked at Nando's and it was brilliant. While I was a student, I worked at Nando's. And you may know Nando's already, but if you didn't or don't, then it's kind of Afro-Luso, I think I'd describe it as. Portuguese / South African or just African. Not too sure on the specifics, but Afro-Luso is what I remember them saying to me. And delicious chicken, sort of kind of halfway between fast food and restaurant, really. But I would say better quality than much better quality than a fast food restaurant. And one of my favourite places to eat, because when I was working in a restaurant, it was good memories. It is now good memories. And as a student, I would get a meal while I was working on shift, and that would really help me get through not having very much money as a student. So I really enjoyed that. I was a server, waiter, and really enjoyed interacting with people. And yeah, tips were quite good actually, weren't they? Were they good? Yeah, they were all right. So I hope that you've learned some fun and interesting vocabulary. If you've got any questions, comment wherever you're listening to this. If it's Spotify, I think it's on Apple as well, or YouTube. Just chuck a comment somewhere and let's talk about food. I am now really very hungry. I'm going to go and eat some food. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to see the transcript, it's on Patreon. So that will be simplystreetenglish.com. No, try again. Patreon.com/simplystreetenglish. And that's it for today. Have a good time at the restaurant when you go. Now I didn't talk about tipping, did I? Just real quickly then, I'll talk about tipping. Sometimes in the UK, they do a service charge, which is probably about 10%. Depending on the restaurant, you might not tip, but you might. About 10% in the UK is adequate, is all right. Right, now we really are finished for the day. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.